Hello traders, welcome back to this video. In this video today I want us to analyze some few pairs. I have four pairs that I'm going to analyze. I want to analyze NAS100, and then after that I will analyze gold and GBPUSD and also EURAUD. So in this video you will learn a lot from the top-down analysis that I'm going to do. So stay tuned and make sure you learn something out of this video. So here I have NAS100. Let's go straight into it. So in NAS100, after seeing this kind of selling pressure that was happening last week, so what I did, let's go to the daily time frame. So I'm going to show you an example of a very good trade that I had from yesterday. It was on Tuesday yesterday, so let me show you the kind of trade that I got from my powerful strategy. So after seeing this selling pressure and then we had this pullback, I marked this order block that was left behind by the market. So after marking this order block, the daily order block, I knew that the daily order block will be mitigated before the price makes the next move. So I wanted to see what happens when the market taps into this order block. So the second thing that I did, let me go to the 4-hour time frame. So before I continue, there is someone who asked me a question from the mentorship program, that what is the essence of doing a top-down analysis from the higher time frame to the lower time frame. And doing an analysis or a top-down analysis from the higher time frame to the lower time frame helps you to understand what the market is trying to do. And then you will drop down into the lower time frame to look for trades in that same trend or the bias that the higher time frame is trying to give you. And then another importance of doing a top-down analysis from the higher time frame, it is to try and make sure that you are trading in the right direction in that bias. You don't have to try to trade against the trend. So that is two reasons that I find very important in doing a top-down analysis. So here I have order block, and then seeing here in the 4-hour time frame such a kind of consolidation up here, I went into a lower time frame to see if I can get a change of character, a valid change of character from this point of view here. So going to the lower time frame, on the lower time frames that I expect change of characters, and that is not the 1 hour or the 30 minutes, maybe from the 15 minutes time frame to the 5 minutes time frame. That's where I want to see my change of character. And you can see very clearly up here we have some consolidation, and that is where I'm going to look for my change of character. So at this point here, this was the how the market was reacting. So we have this tap into the order block, and then we have these structures: a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, and then a higher high. So you can see this internal structure that was formed here. This here, there was an internal structure here, and then later on the market came back down with a selling pressure to take out this low and this low. So you can see very clearly. Let me mark that low that was taken as liquidity, and I was very keen with this structure being formed. So there is sweep of liquidity down here, and then the other low also was taken out, this low and this low. After that, I waited for a break of structure so that I can mark this as my strong low because it swept liquidity over this side. So later on, I found out that the market came back up here to break this structure. So I have my valid break of structure after the sweep of liquidity. So you can see very clearly the break of structure is up here, and then we have this move to the downside. So this here, I found I saw this week, and I decided to drop down to the lower time frame to see if there is a break of structure here. So, and in this scenario here, this is where some traders mark this as their break of structure, a body to week, a week to week break of structure. So, but for me, I needed to seek further clarity in the lower time frame so that I can know if this is a change of character. So I did that. Let me go to the 5 minutes time frame and see if I can get that change of character. So you can see very clearly there is a body closure to the downside, a very good body closure to the downside. So this is now my change of character. Now I know that the market is willing to sell to the downside. So this is the change of character. So after this, what I did, I came back up here, tried to look for an inducement, and I found out this inducement up here. So I drew an order block from that high of the inducement, from that high of an inducement, because I did not see any valid order block. So I drew my point of interest on this high of the inducement. So that is where my limit orders were placed. So I knew very clearly if the market will be willing to sell and have that selling pressure, I knew the market will come back up to take the inducements before tapping into my limit order and then go straight to the downside. So in this trade, I was having two trades, and the first trade I closed it at 1:3 risk to reward ratio. So this was my stop loss, and then the take profits was 1:3. The first take profit was around here, and then the second take profit I was targeting an order block from the 1 hour time frame. I guess so. Let me show you the trade. Yes, so the second profit was around somewhere here on this order block. So you can see clearly market also tried to push aggressively to the downside. You can see this kind of candle. So that is very simple. You can see the importance of doing a top-down analysis from the higher time frame to the lower time frame. And I have tried to break it down into the entry point. So in this scenario here, you have learned the importance of doing a top-down analysis, and then also you have learned on how to get your entry. You must learn the concept of finding a good entry from a point of interest. So you can see the kind of trade that I caught yesterday, and I'm sure you have learned something out of it. So let's go to what I'm trying to give an overview on. So currently, we know very well we have the selling pressure from this order block, the daily order block, and I want us to look for a trade from this area. What is happening here? So let me drop to the 15 minutes time frame. I have a setup currently going on. So after this selling pressure, I expected the market to try and pull back into this zone. Let me delete this so that I can be very clear. So I expected the market to pull back before having the aggressive move to the downside. I expected the market to come back to this zone. Let me delete the daily order block. So I expected the market to come back to this zone, but it seems the market will not come there. But let's watch out for this area also. And if the market will not come into that order block, it is fine, it is okay. So I have shared this setup in the group. There is an order block up here, and a valid order block that has a fair value gap, and the order block has also broken structure to the downside. So we have the break of structure here, and currently the setup is currently running. So this is the break of structure. I had my sell limits on this order block, and I'm currently in profits. So I expect the market to sell from this zone, from up here to the downside, because of the selling pressure that we experience from this other side. So if this order block is violated, we expect some sales from up here, and then after that we'll be targeting this low from up there. So that is if the current order block that has formed this selling pressure, if the order block will not work, that means we will be looking at this order block up there. But I think currently the price will be reacting from this order block, and then we have good sales from up here to the downside. So that is for NAS 100. I think it is very, very clear uh, from this area. And one thing I wanted to share also, and this is a very good question from someone from the mentorship program. Uh, the lower time frames are for you to look for change of characters, and the higher time frames are for you to mark the point of interest. So I don't expect you to place limit orders on a 4-hour order block, or a 1-hour order block, or even a daily order block. I don't expect you to be placing limits there. So the best thing you should do, the higher time frame order block or point of interest, is to guide you on looking for a change of character in the lower time frame. And in the lower time frame, for example, this is an order block from the 15 minutes time frame. In here, you cannot just come here and just try to look for a change of character in a 1 minute time frame. That is not making any sense. The lower time frame order blocks, that is where you can place the limit orders. Let's say maybe from the 30 minutes time frame, 15 minutes time frame, and the 5 minutes time frame. So I don't expect you to be placing limit orders from the higher time frame. If you mark a zone from the higher time frame, just lower into the lower time frames and try to look for a change of character before you enter a trade. And if the order block is from a lower time frame, don't try to look for a change of character in that lower time frame. You will miss out that trade. So the best thing is, from the lower time frame, you just put the limit order, and from the higher time frame POI or the higher time frame order block, you try to look for a change of character, a confirmation. So that is it for NAS 100, and I think you have learned something out of that. So let's go straight to gold. So next is gold. I have gold here. So on gold from the daily time frame, on gold from the daily time frame. So on gold from daily time frame, we experience some selling pressure from this high. You can see there is an area of resistance. So after the selling pressure from this high on the last 2 weeks, we can see from this area also there is a buying pressure from down here. We can see this buying pressure from down here, the first touch, the second, and the third. But we are not going to trade this kind of we are not going to use this kind of information to trade. We are only going to use it as a to find our buyers. So we can see that the market reacted from this low to the upside. So we want us to see what the market will be doing. And I expect to see some reaction from this daily order block that was left behind. So that is my major concern with this gold. So I'll delete this. I delete this order block. Sorry, not the order block, the support zone and the resistance zone. So I expect to see a reaction from this order block, and currently we have a good reaction. Let's drop down to the lower time frame so that we can see what is trying to happen here. What does gold want to do in this area? So we'll drop down to the 4 hour time frame and try to see what is happening. So currently gold is trying to react from this order block, and also we have a 4 hour order block that was left inside here. The order block has a fair value gap, and this is the kind of order block that I don't expect you to be placing sell limits from the order block. So from the higher time frame order blocks, don't place limits. Just try to look for change of characters. So here we have the reaction, and I want to look for that strong low that was left behind before I find my change of character. So that is very important because the market can decide to react from this first point, and then after reacting, not change of character, and then the market can go up to react from the other order block. We have two order blocks. Let me delete this so that the chart can be very clearly. So we have the second zone up here. We have another order block, a valid order block that has a fair value gap. So we want to see the reactions from these zones. So remember, the price has already tapped into the daily order block. So we want to see what is happening in this area. So we will drop down to the 1 minute, 1 hour time frame so that we can see what is happening. So on the 1 hour time frame, we can see clearly we have this break of structure to the upside. We have this break of structure. So I want us to focus mainly on the current move because now we have our buyers. So that is the break of structure to the upside. And then we can see very clearly the market is trying to pull back into this area of, we have a very good fair value gap. And then inside here, we have a 1 hour order block. But this order block is not going to be very powerful for me because there is no any inducement to be taken out inside here before we look for buys to the upside. And to confirm if this order block is valid, it means I have to wait for a change of character to take the trades from down here to the upside. I want to see something like a change of character inside here before we have a pullback, and then we go to the upside. So that is what I expect from gold. We have currently the break of structure, a valid break of structure because there was a sweep of liquidity from inside here. So we will drop down into the lower time frame so that we can see the sweep of liquidity. So meanwhile, let me place this here because I expect some buys. But if this low is violated, that means we have our sellers coming in. So that is what I expect from gold today. Let me drop to the 15 minutes time frame. So if you see clearly inside here, we have this break of structure to the upside, and then the market came back down to sweep this liquidity, this inducement, and then swept also this low and this low before going up with a buying pressure to the upside to break this structure. And currently, the market is trying to come back down to pull back down in a corrective manner. So I expect to have a good change of character in this low before taking buys to the upside because there is no a good inducement to be taken out here on the 1 hour time frame. Let's say maybe if the market will react from this low, that means this is an inducement to be taken out. But for me, this is not a good inducement. So I expect the market to be forming a change of character before I look for my trades. So don't try to trade aggressively from this order block. So that is for gold. I expect some buys from up there, and currently here from down here. Sorry. So currently here we have this structure, and here we have this break of structure to the downside before the market came back to sweep this highs liquidity and then went back down to break structure. So after this break of structure, if I was very keen, I could have found a very good trade from this area. You can see very clearly there is a sweep of liquidity up here before they move down. So, and after the move down, there is a break of structure, and we have this pullback to mitigate this order block. We have this last order block. So the market came back up to mitigate the order block. Let me try to look for 5 minutes time frame so that we can minimize the order block. So the order block from the 5 minutes time frame is up here. That is the order block. You can see very clearly the market came back up to tap into the order block, and there we have a very good selling pressure to the downside. So I expect gold to come down here, and then we have a good change of character before we look for buys. Or if we find that the market will not have a good change of character, then we should try to look for a structure that will be forming inside here to look for a buying opportunity. So in some instance, in some let's say maybe in some scenarios, you find that the market has not formed a change of character, and you can see very clearly the market is trying to go up. You try to look for an internal structure that you can jump in and catch the trend. So that is what basically a good trader should do. So I think that is for gold. And next, I want us to talk about GBPUSD. So next, I want us to talk about GBPUSD. So on GBPUSD, we had our analysis from the previous video, and the GBPUSD since Monday, GBPUSD has not been moving very well. So you can see very clearly we have a consolidation around this point. We were expecting some sales from up here, and I'm still expecting some sales from up there because of this liquidity build down here below the order block. So there is a lot of liquidity being built down here with this consolidation, and if this high is being violated, then that means we'll be looking for opportunities to buy to the upside. So but for now, I expect the market to react from this order block that swept liquidity, and then after sweeping liquidity, we have the break of structure. So I expect the market to react from this order block, and then we look for sales to the downside. So, and remember, in this kind of order block, you should look for a change of character so that we can have our trades to the downside. And if we don't find a good change of character, that means if the structure will be forming to the downside, we will look for a trade to the jump into the trend to the downside. So that is it. I expect from a selling pressure from this high. If I try to go to the 4 hour time frame, the order block is starting from around this area. This is the order block. So if you have not watched the previous video, this is what I expect from GBPUSD. I'm not going to do a top-down analysis so that I cannot be repeating myself. So if you have not watched the top-down analysis on GBPUSD, kindly go to the previous video so that you can understand what is happening here. So this is what I expect from GBPUSD. We are still waiting from uh, from GBPUSD and see what the market is currently doing. So you can see very clearly the 4 hour order block that I have tried to mark. This is the last order flow to the upside, the last upward push to the upside before this aggressive move to the downside. So if the market will not come back up here, we expect the market to tap inside this 4 hour order block before going down. And that is why I'm encouraging you to look for a change of character. I don't expect you to place a sell limit from this area and put your stop loss up here, because the stop loss is very big. So that is another importance of having a change of character on the lower time frame, because the higher time frame POI or order block is very big. So that is what I expect from GBPUSD. So let's jump into Euro AUD. Let's go to Euro AUD. So on Euro AUD, I have a setup that I have been analyzing, and I will start from the daily time frame. And this setup is very good, but we need to be very keen with what the market will be happening will be doing. So on Euro AUD, there is an order block here, but currently I don't want to focus on this order block. The order block that I want to focus on is this one. And on this order block, we already have reactions from the order block. The first reaction is from here. The price tapped into the order block before going up, and then we have this pullback, tapped into the order block before going up again. But I want us to focus with what is happening inside here. So we have this order block currently holding the holding the selling pressure and causing this upward move. So we will drop down to the 4-hour time frame to see what is happening. So on the 4-hour time frame, I have this break of structure, a very good break of structure, after price swept this highs liquidity before going down to break this structure. So what I did after the break of structure, I marked my inducements, and my inducements is up here and up here. So many people, so many traders can try to sell from this order block, because this order block swept this liquidity. But you know what the market will do? The market will have a reaction from this order block before going to take them out, because the external liquidity has already been taken. The swing point has already broken structure. The market has already broken structure to the swing point. This was the last low. So this is after the break of structure. That means the internal structures become liquidity. That is simply what you need to understand with this concept. So you can't come back up here to try to trade from this area, because you know that there was a sweep of liquidity here before the move to the downside. So make sure you try to analyze your market very clearly, because I know most of the traders were trying to sell from this zone, because there is a sweep of liquidity and there is a break of structure. And remember, this is an internal break of structure. That's why in the 1-hour time frame we have a reaction from that order block. That is why from the 1-hour time frame, let me delete this. That is why from the 1-hour time frame we have a reaction from this order block. There is this order block. This order block has a fair value gap. And that is when you find that some people say that their analysis is not working. So here you have this break of structure, but no sweep of liquidity. And then later the market came back up to break this structure. So for beginners traders, they will be looking for buys from this order block. So the market will always give you each and every good reason to buy from a zone, because the smart money understands that you will be trying to buy from this order block because it is a valid order block, and the order block has also swept liquidity. So the one concept that I have been teaching you is that if you don't have a valid break of structure, kindly don't mark that change of character. That highs, if the high has been taken out, kindly don't mark that high as a change of character, because this is a correct pullback. We understand that, but this is not a correct break of structure to the downside. This is not a valid break of structure because there is no sweep of liquidity on this other side. That's why the market came back up to sweep the highs liquidity and then go back down to break structure. So if a trader was trying to buy from this low, the price will have a reaction and give you hope that the market is willing to buy, but later on the market will take you out before going down to break the swing point break of structure. So and after that, after the swing point has been taken out, that means these internal structures are liquidity. And this is what happened up here. You can see the order block, a very good order block with all the confluences, but with no valid change of character or with no valid uh, break of structure to the downside. So uh, we have this reaction. The market tapped into the order block, and you can see this reaction here. And later on, the market went up to take out the liquidity above here because this is an inducement. So you can see very clearly the setup. This is the setup. I expect the market to take out this high. Already the market has taken the high. And then we have the second inducement here before this 1 hour order block. So this point of interest up here, we have the fair value gap and the inducements just below it. So I expect the market to come back up, and when the market comes back up, I expect a good change of character before looking for my sales. And I want to explain why I want to look for a change of character from this high. I want to look for a change of character from this high because we understand that we had a daily order block from down here, and the daily order block is causing this buying pressure to the upside. So that is why I want to see a good change of character before I sell to the downside. So I guess that is it for the analysis. I've analyzed 4 pairs and I know you have learned something out of this video. So if you have liked the video, kindly subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you cannot miss any overviews or any market recaps or any market overviews each and every Sundays and Wednesdays. So thank you guys for being here, and let's meet in the next video.